This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
On the path, obviously, in this era, if you're the United States champion, you become the number one contender for the world title. It's Ric Flair in the big seat at the time. And it feels like it's inevitable that they're going to be programmed together. When it finally happens, they start to do a lot of house shows, or maybe they were called spot shows back then. And they did the old Broadway. Explain that process to some of our younger listeners.
Well, they didn't want to beat either guy, so they want a time limit draw. Time limit draw within the business called a Broadway. My first match I ever refereed was a 10-minute Broadway. And a guy told me on the way to the ring, he said, they're doing a 10-minute Broadway. And I didn't have the balls to say, I don't know what that means. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't know what a Broadway was. Well, that's some kind of New York match. They're fighting in taxi cabs or something. Hell, I didn't know. 10-minute Broadway. So Broadway was a way of having a match, tell a great story without beating either guy. And all of a sudden you got a time limit draw that was in most areas was acceptable as a believable finish, because sometimes you have draws, sometimes you have the time runs out or whatever. So that's kind of what that is. It's just a time limit draw. But that's a great way to measure how deep the water is before your challenger gets uncomfortable. Do the hour with Flair was a big deal too.
Yeah.
I said earlier that, Magnum winning that championship in Mid-South was like, a kid at Christmas. I would tell you the same thing about Magnum and working the first time he worked a succession of hour Broadways with Ric Flair. A lot of guys that were booked that way felt privileged that was, they could always say, I went the hour with Flair. That's pretty cool.
Well, what also is cool is Magnum's first big title offense. It's Great American Bash 1985 in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's 27,000 fans there, and he retains by DQ over Kamala after Skandar Akbar interferes. Of course, this is a cool down moment before the big heat begins against the Horsemen. But still, Kamala and Skandar had been established on a lot of different territories, and World Class being one of their first big sort of coming out parties on cable and syndicated. But Magnum in a stadium, 27,000 fans, he's the U.S. champion. Pretty good spot for Mr. Allen to be in.
Yeah, he should have won. Having a DQ finish who'd that help?
Yeah.
And who are you building? Who's going to the next level the quickest? Kamala or TA? Well, it's obvious. We know the answer. So why wouldn't you beat him? There's a million finishes that Akbar could give you where something happened, miscommunication, boom, and Magnum catches the 1, 2, 3. And let those 27,000 people rejoice. That's what I would say. It's just, there's sometimes where you have, the booker is an active participant. I believe it can, and to anybody, can cloud your judgment. That's one of those deals where that should have been the pop of the night, but somebody wanted something else, I guess, to be the pop of the night. Hell, I don't know. But the bottom line is, if I'm booking that show or I'm running that territory, I'm just going to explain them. I'm not going to have to explain shit. I'm going to tell the booker what we're going to do. Magnum over, finish, belly to belly. That's easy. Get there, figure it out, and come back to me. And then you figure it out where you don't want to destroy Kamala. You're not going to beat Kamala in 2 or 3 minutes. You're going to make Magnum make a fierce, hero-like comeback from the depths of hell to overcome the Ugandan giant and win for all of us 27,000 and change. It's too logical.
July 21st in Charlotte, Tully Blanchard is here, and with the aid of Baby Doll dressed up as a police officer, she's going to hand Tully a foreign object as the referee is down. And then, of course, Tully's going to nail Magnum and pin him to take the U.S. title. And we're off to the races with Tully and Magnum. Magnum is working loops on a regular basis with Tully and even teaming with Dusty against the Russians, Nikita Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev. Were you watching Magnum on TV at this point? Are you seeing him advance? Are you pleased with what you're seeing as you're watching from home in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I was very happy for him. He was one of our guys, Connie.
Yeah.
He worked with us for a year and a half. You see him every week at interviews or at TV or at the office or wherever it may be. I was proud of him. I've always had that theory of this interpromotional shit. You know, I like AEW, but I don't watch such and such. Okay. Why do I need to know that?
Yeah.
It's like that fucking commercial, you know, the waiter doesn't need to know your name.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I watch, and you never know what you learn. You learn things all the time, you know. You might get a booking idea or whatever it may be as well. So, but he was on fire, man. He was progressing in exactly the verticality that he needed to be. He was right on time.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.